Today we're going to use just these 3 chisels to make a carving of this turtle, and that's a suggestion from Mark McClooney, not the turtle, but the tutorials with bench chisels or flat chisels, so that it's accessible to more people. What a nice guy Mark McClooney is, and he's right that, you know, it's good to not focus on the weird wood carving tools all the time. It's good to have some flat chisel stuff. So yeah, hopefully lots more people will be able to try this one out. Let's do it. So now I've got the design on the wood. The first thing I'm going to do is come around all this outside area with a couple of these different chisels, depending on what size I need, and just cutting this outside part of the shell and then curving it over. That's why I haven't really bothered to draw this bit on in the middle, because we're now going to be carving it away. So let's do that first. Okay, so now I've put a bit of a curve on that. I'm just going to come around the outside and draw the straight lines around the outside edge of the shell. Then I'm going to trace over all these lines again and draw the plates back on. Then we'll probably come up and go around these lines, curve it over a bit. Same there, same there, same there. Then we'll do the head, kind of curve this bit down and get all these plates kind of sorted out. But anyway, before we get ahead of ourselves, let's just cut round these 4 and curve them over a little bit. So you may have noticed I'm mostly just taking material away from the edges and not really moving too far towards the center of each piece, like here and in the center of these. And that's because with a flat chisel, if I come too far in, it kind of gets harder and harder to make the curve there without the corners of the chisel tracking on the wood, making lines. So I'm just trying to slowly ease back the corners and just go as far as I dare before I stop. So just a couple of things before we move on to the next step. Basically what I'm going to do now is take this neck down here, make it lower than both the head and the body, and then we're just going to do the same to this like we did to the shell. And then what I'm going to do is going to come along these lines and make these plates look kind of separate, and the beak at the front. Now the other thing is, one thing I've noticed is that by going around the outside edges here with the chisels, it's hard to give it like a really super clean edge, whereas with the V chisel, you know, you're always kind of like cutting around and it helps give it that clean edge. You've got the two cutters coming in. So this one, it's quite hard. So what I'm going to do probably is to come back with the chisel at the end after we've done everything and just go up along the edges here like this and just give it a little bit of a chamfer. And that way it will kind of look like it's been cut by a V-chisel, and it will just make all the edges look a lot cleaner because they're a little bit messy at the moment. I think what I'm going to do here is just draw a faint line about, I don't know, 4mm in from the main line, and then use that as kind of a template and do that on every single one of these. So I'll cut round here with a chisel, and then I'll chamfer all the corners so they go down, and I think that will give it a really cool look if we get them all accurately chamfered. So they all look similar. I think that will look pretty cool. So let's try that out and see what happens. So while I begin chamfering these corners of the plates, I just want to thank my patrons for their support, and in particular my two newest patrons, Dee Dee and Tonka Hands, who joined at the Bendy Boy Society level, which means they will get all of the templates. Now, in my last video I gave away the template to carve this column for free, and I don't usually do 2 free ones in a row, but I feel like it's a bit hypocritical of me to say I'm going to make carving more accessible by doing it with flat chisels and then hiding the template behind a paywall. So for that reason I am going to make this one free as well, and I think all of the templates that require just flat chisels will all be free templates on Patreon. You just have to sign up as a free member, and then you can download the free templates on there. I'm going to go indoors and clean this up while watching TV, but because of the power of editing, rather than the couple of hours I'm going to spend cleaning it up, you guys are going to see it right now. And there it is, all done. Now bear in mind that we did this whole thing with just 3 flat bench chisels. I guess bench chisels are always flat, but I like to put the flat in there so people really understand, who are kind of new to woodworking, that they are flat chisels and quite easy to acquire for not very much money. So you could make this cool little design with just some flat chisels. And you can get the template for free if you join as a free member on my Patreon, as well as the column template and the flower template. So anyway, thanks a lot for watching, guys. Thanks again to Mark McClooney for coming up with that idea. You guys should go and watch Mark McClooney's channel. He has loads and loads of interesting woodworking videos. Until next time, thanks so much for watching. Subscribe, like and comment if you want, and I will catch you again next time. Thanks very much.